One, two, three, four. One, two.
It's Gordon at I Dig Vinyl here, and I've got a little bunch of records to show. They're all inspired by numbers. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There's been a number of really interesting threads flying around in the VC recently, and I wanted to try to do one. There's the 20 greatest hits I saw. There's a 4x4, which was interesting as well. There's a three artist over 3 decades, so quite a lot like that I was going to do, and I thought about showing off some records, but the my record collection didn't really seem to fit either of them, any of them that is. So I started to kind of rack my brains. What could I do myself? And I was thinking of maybe solo artists or duos or something like that. And the more and more I thought about it, the ones, the twos, the threes, the more that George Harrison's intro to Taxman popped into my head. And that's it. So as George says, I'm going to show a solo artist, a duo, a trio, a quartet, another solo artist, and a duo. Convoluted? Not at all. But I hope you enjoy. It was interesting thinking about what to select. I went through a few different sort of selections and rejections along the road, and it made me think about what kind of stuff I wanted to share. And actually, the records that I picked out, for some reason, they seem to sort of reflect the mad times that we're in at the moment. If you look at the news, it's a pretty absurd environment that we're living in. So I've got five amazingly absurd albums, one from the past, but five absurd albums for pretty absurd times in amongst this as well. So hope you enjoy. So start off with a very singular solo artist, someone that I wasn't very familiar with at all until last week. So I've got a big bunch of vinyl, mixed job lot of stuff, including this one by Kevin Ayers. So this is a Harvest Heritage combination of two albums, and includes the one I wanted to show or talk about a little bit, which is Kevin Ayers' debut album, The Joy of a Toy. It's just an absolute revelation to me. I was aware of Kevin Ayers, but not too much aware of really what he'd produced. So this is his debut after moving away from Soft Machine. What a great album all the way through. I read a little review that described the opening track as it sounds as if it's been played by a band of psychedelic minstrels marching through a medieval town, and I think that's a great way to start off your sort of solo career, and it does remind me of that. It's very, very diverse, great vocals. His vocals remind me of some kind of blend of Nico and John Cale, if you could combine those two voices. It's effortless sounding, a real blend of different sort of musical styles as well. Some of it's folky, some of it's proggy. It's always catchy. It's a great listen, something I've been listening to an awful lot recently, so I'm glad I found it, and I look forward to finding out a bit more about Kevin Ayers. The other album here is brilliant as well. It seems a bit more experimental to me, but yeah, a singular solo artist to start off with, Kevin Ayers. Okay, next a duo, and this is a good one to show off as the night start to draw in. It is the Hologram People, and what's the album actually called? Village of the Snake God. So, don't know if you're familiar with the Hologram People. It's a duo. It's Dom Keen and John Parks. They've both got sort of their own solo projects, but this is their second or third album, I think it is, from around about 2023. It's great as well. It's sort of psychedelic. It's basically a kind of imaginary soundtrack to a movie, which I would love to watch actually. It's the movie of this snake god set somewhere in England. Um, it's a brilliant sounding movie actually, very reminiscent of some kind of Hammer horror thing from the 70s. And basically, what you've got here are 13 tracks that would soundtrack the various sort of segments of the film. style. It's kind of fuzzed out guitars at times. There's bits of more sort of baroque folky stylings. It's always sort of spooky. It's all definitely got that supernatural vibe, but it's very, very atmospheric and dead enjoyable. So the Hologram people, they've got a number of albums like this. I've got a couple, and this is one that I've been playing quite a lot recently. As I said, very, very talented pair, and I think a good example of a duo. They wouldn't produce this one on their own, so typical good duo. They bounce off of each other, and this is the kind of thing that comes out of it. A quick example, if I could read this in the night. Number 4, Midnight Raga. Imagine this. Lady Octavia performs a magical act on the snake, activating it with a carnal ritual in a secret basement with several of the village folk. From her candlelit dungeon, Lady Octavia, surrounded with several of the village's most sacrosanct folk, enacts the carnal ritual of the Mayday Hex to animate the snake god. Whew. This is not something to take your kids to the school run to. Very enjoyable nonetheless. Okay, on to a trio. This is the ultimate hip hop trio? I would say so. De La Soul's third album, Balloon Mind State. And again, thinking about absurd times, this is, I would say, De La Soul at their most majestically absurd. It's an album that, on release, it was critically acclaimed in some quarters, but it was a commercial flop. And I find that a wee bit surprising, to be honest. I think it's a brilliant album. There's an amazing sort of blend of music all the way through. It does seem like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. And I haven't got a clue, really, what it's all about, I have to say. But I'm not too bothered about that either. I'll just show the songs on the back here. There's a lot of nice sort of collaborations with the likes of Guru and Bismarcky. Also the saxophonist, whose name I've forgotten just now, who played with the likes of James Brown. Absolutely beautiful. I Be Blowing. So kind of jazzy flavours are all running through it. But yeah, I think this is a great album. This wee segment here from Patty Duke, I Be Blowing and Ego Tripping, is really excellent, especially I think the first and only time I've heard Japanese rap. It's a great little blend. So yeah, is there a better trio in hip hop? I don't know. I was thinking about a perfect trio. De La Soul definitely spring to mind. Might as well spin right on to an album that I do think is a complete masterpiece. So when I was thinking about a quartet, a 4, sort of perfect musical quartet to me is the classic lineup: a lead singer, amazing guitarist, brilliant bass player, and awesome drummer. And what sprang to mind for me is this album, which I do, as I said, think is a complete masterpiece. It's Gang of Four's debut album, Entertainment. I love everything about this, from the artwork to every single track. It's classically all colour, no filler at all. I think it's the guitar work of Andy Gill that jumps out at me so much. Unlike anything I've really heard, such a distinctive style. It's almost like he's playing sort of some kind of Morse code as he shreds his guitar, on top of that brilliant rhythm section of drum and bass. So yeah, Gang of Four, Entertainment, it's one of those ones that you can just kind of sense the influences that came out of it, but also that in every track, as a quartet, these guys are completely on form. Every bit of it just seems to work in perfect sync. I think as a sound, it's pretty different from the time. It sort of heralds this new arrival. Is it post-punk? But it's got touches of other stuff going on there as well, hasn't it? Just packed with brilliant songs. And I think the sort of lyrical take on life is pretty interesting as well. So it's another one that seems pretty relevant today. Another great song, great selection of songs for absurd times. It's Gang of Four, entertainment. Gang of four from the UK, and I'm just going to spin across the Atlantic and delve back into the past a wee bit with this awesome solo artist. This is my second number one, if you like. Lightning Strikes by Lightning Hopkins. This is from 1962, and I do like a bit of blues, and this is a brilliant blues artist doing some brilliant blues music all the way through. So yeah, don't know very much about Lightning Hopkins before I picked this up, but we've got 10 songs, all so evocative of that kind of time period. It's mainly just him on his own. The style, kind of read up on it a little bit, it's country blues or Texas blues, so really great finger picking, and then into his own sort of lead work. He's a great singer also, very, very distinctive, very powerful. I was very pleased to pick this up just last week, and I wasn't too sure what sort of condition the album was going to be in, but it's really great all the way through, plays like a dream, and I think it is a 62 sort of original UK press, so absolutely delighted with it. Lightning Hopkins and his album Lightning Strikes. So I'm going to finish off with an amazing duo. They are Water From Your Eyes, and this is their album that was just released a couple of weeks ago. It's a Beautiful Place. Hailing from New York, this is Nate Amos and Rachel Brown, who make up the kind of creative force of the band. How to describe it? Well, it's a wild ride. One of the most unusual, I would say, releases of the year so far. Sort of blend of art pop, some grunge, disco punk, they call themselves. There's electronica, it's experimental, sort of avant-garde, all this wrapped up. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but they're clearly really talented, and it fits the bill, or the sort of theme of some of my choices tonight, in terms of it being another absurd kind of collage that suits the mad times that we're in. I'm going to go and see them in Glasgow in November, so I can't wait to see them live. But yeah, this is a great album. It just comes in under 30 minutes. The songs are very, very distinct, but there's little kind of soundscapes in between that kind of blend them all together. So yeah, they're quite quirky. When I've seen them interviewed, they're really quite funny, offbeat kind of characters, and their music's a bit like that too. So a wee bit like the Hologram People, a classic duo. They need each other to produce the music that they do. So that's me, that's my selections, just 6. And as George says, it's a
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
So, I always find it quite hard to round off these videos. I'm not too sure what you're supposed to say. Thank you for watching. I'd appreciate any comments at all. It's absolutely brilliant when someone out there in the recesses of the VC watches your video and makes a comment. I'd love that. If anyone wants to add anything to the selection that's up there, tell me a wee bit more. If anyone wanted to have a shot at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 mix, that would just be tremendous. But anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. If anyone wants to give it a like or subscribe, all the better. But in the meantime, take care. Peace out.